Hello, and welcome to another week of Central Reads, our 2024 Bible reading plan. This week is sort of an interesting week. Half the week, we are doing a few different Proverbs 25 through 27. And then the second half of the week, we are diving into Paul's little letter to Timothy. Paul's letter to Timothy, make sure to watch the Bible Project's introduction video on that. That will come out on Thursday on our Facebook page. Make sure you check that out. Bible Project videos here are really helpful. Letter to Timothy is an interesting letter. Timothy was a young guy who Paul had sort of adopted. He thought of him almost like a son, and he could see he was gifted, and Timothy was the guy who Paul sent to do stuff and establish churches and to continue to teach and to lead. Timothy was an important figure in Paul's kind of circle of ministers and co-workers as he set up churches all throughout the Eastern Mediterranean. The letter to Timothy is, in some ways, it's very beautiful. There's beautiful theology in it. There's some wonderful poems about Jesus and just amazing stuff. Some instructions, very practical. You'll get where, Timothy is a young leader trying to guide these older people through faith, and you'll get why some of it's very practical. Some of it's a little confusing and difficult to understand unless you know more of the context to what was going on in the situation. And so just be careful with how you interpret that. But as you read through 1 Timothy, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, please, I'm all ears. I'd love to talk through those things with you. But I also want to just encourage you to read through the Proverbs that we're reading through on the first few days. Some of them are lovely. I mean, as I said when we talked about Proverbs earlier, it's almost impossible to read an entire chapter of Proverbs. There's 28 different Proverbs, and you just can't remember them, and you just kind of read through them, and you forget about all of them. I want to recommend just picking one proverb that really stands out to you that day, and think about that, and kind of meditate on it, and kind of let it go over, right? So I was just looking through some of these for this week, and this is from chapter 27, for instance, verse 12. It says, "The clever see danger and hide, but the simple go on and suffer for it." You can stop and think about how that applies in your life, in my life, right? The clever, people who are wise, they see danger ahead, and rather than just keep going into it, right? So they get into an accident, so they go around it. They take a detour, right? The simple, those who are, not so clever, not so wise, kind of stupid, people like you and I, maybe, we see danger and we just keep on going, right? You can stop and think about how that applies to your life in those situations where you're like, that's a dangerous thing for me to get involved with. I shouldn't go ahead, but I'm just gonna keep going, right? Proverbs speaks to us if we're willing to listen. So I want to challenge you to listen to those Proverbs. Just pick out one per day that really speaks to you. Meditate on it, think about it. Enjoy the first letter to Timothy. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, have a great week of reading.